Okay, we're back with more Golden Sun 2, and I'm still a little bit lost. It seems like the western part of the map is like really open and easy to get lost in, so I might need to start looking directly at a map. I know I can get this gen somehow, so I'm going to try to do that. Sure, I have my gen guide pulled up. Place called Shaman Village in the middle of the continent. Well, that's good. That's actually where I need to go next, so cool. People of Shaman Village are wary of strangers. Be careful if you ever meet them. So get up there and then drop down. Got it. Guess I could use gel for this purpose, right? Go-to source? No, maybe not. It's because I have too many earth things, basically. There it is. That's better. Oh, I can't drop down from here. Interesting. It's unexpected. So I need to know in advance where I'm pushing this, I actually don't know based on that, to be honest. This one, or this one, right? I don't quite see what the next steps are, so... Let's try pushing it on the left side, since there's another place to push it down from there and see if that gets me anywhere. Seems productive. I can push it down, which... Does that let me get on the wall? It would if it was over by one more. Okay, I think this is right. So I can hop to it. Yeah, okay. Please don't run away. Tinder. Not that Tinder. Okay, so the next time I get one, I actually don't know. I guess the screen's gonna start scrolling, which is interesting. Next one is near Shaman Village, so we're gonna try to go that way soon. Bunch of coins, okay. Maybe all that's in Hesperia settlement. Then people commenting on Shaman Village. So it's towards the center of this continent. Oops. So I don't know if that means that I need to take the boat there, right? I might. Might be able to ride on the river. I'll go give it a try. I happen to exactly avoid the one point of interest on this map last time we came here. Like, I think I went around this entire continent without seeing the obvious one on the beach there. Hey, Darkstar, how you doing? It's leaving. Don't see any, like, villages yet. The cave here, let me just go in there to mark whatever it is. Shaman Village Cave, okay. So, there's a random battle Jin somewhere around here. Above a mountain, it sounds like. Okay, so there's a bunch of ways I can get into the river network here, it looks like. Might be over on that side. Did it mark that cave for me? It did not. Okay. I remember where it was. Up the Central River. I'm surprised how many, like, places you can only get to by sailing your boat in the rivers in this. It's kind of cool, actually. I think this is it right here. So Petra's at the north side of that mountain. Like literally this mountain? See, I think I have to wait for a where to, or avoid runoff. Anyway. This one I might just have to look up the screenshot because the ASCII's not great. Might be wrong. See, I don't know also if I'm guaranteed to get into an encounter with the Jin or not, if I'm in the right area. Look up, this is one's called Petra. Golden Sun to Petra location. Give me just a screenshot of the map, that's gonna help. That does help. I think it's this one here? There we go. Golly. Probably should have saved before getting into this fight. These guys are kind of nasty. Mother Gaia. Probably should have just had Jenna heal. Definitely should have Jenna heal. Her attack sucks. There we go. Nice. Alright, next one is in Shaman Village proper, I think. So I think I probably have to go through the Shaman Village cave here. I don't know that actually driving around in this river is doing me any favors. Let's assume that we have to go through the cave. Should have enough Jin now that everyone can equip extra ones. Let's see how this works. It does make this screen bigger. That's surprising. Okay. Cool, though. Oh, I see. Becomes an admiral. Which is just a massive stat increase. Okay. That's incorrect. Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. Like, the actual look of the UI changes after you exceed 7 with a single character. So many games where, like, the UI spoils stuff, right? You're like, oh, I know this game probably still has another 20 hours left in it just because of how little of the encyclopedia is filled out, or how many skill slots are still not occupied. I'm sure these bridges aren't important, and I don't think they are. Okay. Let's just go back to that cave. Probably makes life easier. Cave was down here in the north, if I recall correctly. The status screen will have several very obvious slots for abilities that don't exist. Perfect. You could do it that way, or you could do it where the slots aren't even visible on the screen until after you obtain them, like this game does. That. Still can't do anything with those. This ain't looking good to start with here. So there's a Mercury Jin here. Presumably Shaman Village. Shaman Village. Y'all don't want to talk, I can read your minds. Don't like Gaijin, okay. Put 80 coins on the counter and you can stay. Just holding up a sign at me? Rude. And to temporarily drop reveal. Oops. Item looting stress is returned already. Okay, so this one, best way to get it is to just do this, I think. Yeah, that is a hilarious downgrade. Just put one gen of the wrong element on Piers. Spirit gloves, okay. Raises PP. That makes sense for her to have it anyway. Also raises PP. Can't equip. I can't actually think of too many games that intentionally play around with their UI to trick you into thinking the game is shorter than it actually is. Be nice to see more of that. Cow bones in the soup. It's the law not to talk to outsiders. Yeah, the FF3 world map's a pretty good one. I feel like your loadout in FF6 looks mostly complete. If it wasn't for the spell list from Espers, but I guess maybe you could conceivably think that maybe I just missed some Espers. This is my house. Give me some room. Shaman Village does not appreciate intruders. Looking for treasure. Specifically mentioned Contigo. I don't remember if I got an item from Contigo, did I? Kind of just visited there. So if they want me to cast a spell, this may be possible. It's not the corn. That would be proof, though, right? Yeah, I'm actually at a loss here. I want to go all the way back to Contigo. That's really far. There's a Jinn. I do have a thing to show him. Very slowly then. Is it an item then, rather than a spell to cast? Looking through them slowly, I honestly don't recognize. I mean, I guess I could try the key items. That's the... I guess it's the Shaman Village, but okay. Can I get rid of it now, please? You take it from me? It's taking up a precious inventory slot. Hover Jade? Yes, give us the Hover Jade. This is one of my favorite themes on the soundtrack, I think. Taking up an inventory slot since like an hour into Golden Sun 1. We ask the impossible. What about the test? Trial Road? This Moapa guy is very expressive. What kind of test is this? Appreciate this game at least has a little prompt to tell you should use an item. Like I've played a couple games where you have to use an item from your inventory and there's no like direct prompt to do that. Definitely can't get over to that. It's okay. Shamans never lie. Outsiders are never honest. Cause the sand to disappear. Okay. No problem. You can do it, Shiva. You're still gonna make me do the whole dungeon though, right? Legends are true. We have the Hover Jade now. This was a test to see if you earned the right to take the test to earn the stone. Heroes have always been men. Every bit as heroic as some guy. give them a shot. They'll probably give up. You seem confident, but it's your ignorance speaking. It's gonna be fine. Sure, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. That's mean. Okay. It provides you with an opportunity to practice your skills. Race each other to the summits. They fought on the peak of the mountain. We have a small army of godlets hiding inside our body, giving us strength. Yeah. Oh man, Felix is talking. Twice the weight. I think I have extra weapons and items. I think I've sold all of them. The one where you can actually lose. I only need to do 2 items, right? Wish I hadn't have sold some recently. I wish I could do the Shaman's Rod. Or 16 elixirs. Man, I feel like I need to leave and go get some weapons or whatever. Yeah, buy some daggers from the cheapest shop in the world. Oh, you get them back when you're done. Okay, thanks. Is there no combat that I have to worry about? There is some combat. Okay. The crafted gloves and the fairy vest. Hopefully that'll cut it. Go! The big UI on this side there, it's funny. Not worth it if I have to reload. Maybe I can get to that down there, can I? Am I blind? Where'd it go? Wait. I feel like I'm already missing items here. Crafted gauntlet? Does it have to like already be equipped or something? Something's wrong. Two things I wanted to deposit are not listed. Where'd they go in general? I'm super confused. Let me restart here. There it is again. Fairy vest, okay. So specifically, like, set out to not allow me to bring garbage items that I have to unequip stuff, basically. Use a move on that, okay. Not worth it. Chests are probably garbage, I would guess. Oh, I see. Limited in where I can move these. Enough. It's a digging type thing. A way to remind me of how that works. Computer's catching up fast there. Dang. Don't know how to use those yet. Challenger, no, I will win. This is allies. Very cool. Ow, ow, ow. Weak against ice, it seems like. So we think that the shitty, like, consumable items exist just so that characters can have access to synergy? But it wouldn't make sense to have access to them otherwise. How much health the knights have? They're pretty nasty, though. Kill Sheila, please. This might kill Sheila. Okay, so that's a full heal. Oscar hits. How dare you use a nut? Only I may do that. Spared me extra damage that turn. So much for being over-leveled. Someone was saying last episode, and she's like, I just fought everything I ran into until the void started working again. I'm gonna change up the strategy once I kill the ads a little bit. Stop that. I need to start single target attacking the knights. They do not want to die. Attack returns to normal. Hey, one's dead. Very cool. EP recovery from one of these, right? Because that knight already used... Do I want to do Megara? Because that's gonna... Megara. It's gonna cause problems. Knight will not die. We'll actually have to use all my resources to win here. I think I need to always have that PP recovery thing on Jenna. It's really nice. She gets back almost all of the PP she spends on spamming Healing Aura every turn. Crucible Fire, nice. Nice. Yes, being down several pieces of gear made it tricky too. You are heroes indeed. I'm honestly more excited about losing the Shaman Rod, although I guess it just got replaced with another item tax thing, but... At least it's something that's doing something, right? Ah, okay. It had to be something equipped so it could know to re-equip it on you, I guess? Okay. It's interesting. Bosca hit may have been a mistranslation. No idea what it should have been. Stows hover when equipped. Hover in the air, and I wonder if that lets me... Can I, like, cross a single tile gap? Because that would change a lot of the puzzles that I'm able to solve. You all talk to me now? Like, what? We like our meals simple. Oops. I was very impressed with you. Time to sell shit. I'm glad I didn't leave to go, like, find things to specifically put in the chest, because it turned out that would have just absolutely not worked at all. Look at all the things I have equipped on Jenna. That shit's funny. Probably should have the Psy Star and somebody else, so I'm mainly using her as a healer right now. Okay, so the earliest possible character needs to have the stackables. Having the elixirs on Piers is not helping me at the moment. Items keep getting filtered down to the wrong person. Oops. Artifacts. Ninja Blade. It's gotta be worth more than 10k to potentially be worth it, I think. Blessed Robe. Punishes PP, I might actually want that. Fairy Vest, what's doing that for her? Used to restore 200 HP. Here's a game ticket for you, as a gift. Used to cure ailments. Is it like a remedy? It seems pretty strong, if so. Robber's Blade. I wish there was a way to see all new stuff in this list, right? This makes this quite tricky. Alright, so I think Jenna effectively has unlimited PP now. Assuming both. Well, hold on. Maybe that's not right. What does she currently have that's causing her to get PP back? No. I use this robe to replenish PP, but this is restores PP over time. So specifically the crown. Was the crown a reward from the fountain? I still don't know your names. Now you do. Osuka hits. B could also be V, right? Vosuka. See if this works the way I expect it to work. No, not quite. Maybe it would let me move like a single tile. Oh, is hover specifically those weird, like, glowy things? Like the one toward the end of the trial? There's somewhere else I can go here. I still feel like that's something in their puzzle design space. An ability that gives you the ability to float one tile off. Maybe that breaks some of their other puzzles. Very frequent that I'll go into the synergy menu and just completely brain fart on what I was doing. It takes my brain a second to catch back up to it. I don't know why that happens to me constantly. Aroma, okay. Justice. Again, giant stat increase. Okay. That seems like a cool ability. Okay, it looks cool. Hula Baloo. Hula Baloola. Song has strong burn babonga chrono trigger energy. Some Lucky Pepper. Boosts luck. Let me see if hover works on the thing towards the end of this place. Hey, Ravenon, how you doing? Does this just skip the whole trial? Oh no, it's still here. So I could have just done this and come back for the chests, okay. Are there chests on the other side too? I think I looted all the other ones. On the left side. Oh, the puzzles on this side are completely different. It's kind of surprising. And there are different chests here. Alright. I think we actually want this to be... Interesting. Am I able to move this on top of there? Yes. Wow, apparently I picked the right side in terms of not getting stuck. Oops. I had to jump up to the chest there. File. Oh man, I keep trying to like go back around it and getting stuck on one side. There we go. Hippity hoppity. Just ignore that now, which is nice. Yeah, wow. The chests are also a significantly bigger time sink in the right side. I really got lucky there picking the left side. Even just like ignoring the chest, the core puzzle having to push each of these pillars is way slower than what was on the other side. Well, so you were solo and sort of with an empty inventory, so the healing item may have had some use. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess I see where they were going for with the whole you gotta unequip items in the chests, but... It'd be nice if the tutorial told you it was only going to count equipped items. Did that help? Oh yes, it did, okay. Someone else has potions, don't they? Yeah, I thought so. Now he's full. I think the elixirs have to go to Jenna then. Interesting. To refreeze them, I take it. Yeah, but what matters the order in which I do it. Just occurred to me that the hover thing was only on the left side, so hopefully I can just cross over here. If this is in fact a hover thing, I don't actually know that for sure. It is. Okay. Cute. Ah. Boo. Who earns? Thing down here, right? Yeah, you're like, oh, you get all excited. It's like, oh, it only works in one very specific place. Okay, well, now I know. Treat, it doesn't work here. That doesn't work here either. Oh boy, okay. Got little shortcuts everywhere. Thanks, game. Yeah, it's interesting, like, I think progression abilities can work in lots of different ways in different video games, but at the end of the day, there's not a huge difference between a grassy wall that you have to use Whirlwind on and, like, a weird hover platform that you have to cast hover on to use. For some reason, the grassy wall feels fine to me, and the hover platform feels lame to me. I have to think about it, I guess. It's the same, like, key-lock relationship. So they should feel the same. You get a lot of upgrades like that in Metroidvanias. Like, you see whatever the description of the upgrade is, and you're like, oh, that's cool, and it's like, oh, but it only actually works on this specific tile or whatever, and you're like, yeah, okay, well, I'm no longer enthused. Spring only Huabna could find. Okay, so next one says it's in Contigo Village, which I've already been to Contigo Village, and I apparently missed a Jin there. So let's go try to fix that, I guess. And then I think after that it's Jupiter Lighthouse. It's confirming I can't jump here. Okay. Flower staff. So I should have Mercury Lighthouse on the map now, right? Or Jupiter Lighthouse, I mean. Contigo first. I needed to use the river to get to, right? I have to use the river to avoid the like arbitrary shallows tile in the bottom. Once again, not going to hear past the first 25 seconds of the song. Exactly those 5 pairs of teleport shortcut pads that are on every level but gated behind a skill. Oh, it started down here. Was it further up? It's this one up here. I'll be interested to like try Donkey Kong 64 again. I haven't played it since Majora's Mask came out, so I think I ended up getting it specifically because it came with the expansion card that you need for Majora's Mask. It's a total of 3 in the entire game. Yeah. Always makes my eyes roll. I almost made the same mistake even though I knew that there was progress down here. Like, oh, this is just dumping out into the ocean. Pattern holds true. They're building wings for a ship, but that's not going to be till Golden Sun 3. And then Golden Sun 3, they're going to turn their ship into a whale to go to the moon, but that's not going to be till Golden Sun 4. Hey, Banjo-Tooie, which is DK64, but better. Yeah, I think the lock feeling specifically constructed for the key is what feels weird. I guess it feels less bad if the key is being used creatively to deal with the lock, but you do it the other way around, and this is a mean one. Like, obviously this is suspicious, and I think I came here and used Reveal the first time, and after not getting anything, probably should have suspected something, but it would be nice if Reveal showed a dig spot there. I like all the names. We're all allies status to normal. That seems pretty good. Lord to Slayer. DK64, the words that come to mind are unnecessary scope. Like in the same sense as the unnecessary scope of something like Resident Evil 6. Although a much more competent game than Resident Evil 6. I think that's a distinct problem from just general scope creep. Like, they started out with an idea that was too ambitious, and ambitious in a way that wasn't interesting. You see a collectible, there's a 20% chance you can actually pick it up without running into a switch Kong barrel. Yeah. I think if you maybe it would be better if you could switch Kongs on command, so that needing to do it at specific areas. Oh, I made a mod for that. If we play it on stream, I'll use that mod. I'm usually against modding, but I wonder if that ever causes like progression issues. Because it would be particularly bad if you had a mod that lets you switch Kongs at command and it could never like soft lock you, right? It would make you be like, well, why didn't the original game work this way? Progress. A shortcut. Push that down somehow. I just don't know what purpose the barrels serve, other than to waste your time. I assume there's some practical reason they did it that way. The same height? Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, one of these I actually want to do, because I don't have many degrees of freedom on one of these. Although I think the problem with Donkey Kong 64 in particular is that usually it's not trivial with one ability, but challenging with another. It's impossible with one ability and only possible with another. Very nice. Attack and evade up. Ooh. Okay. Thank you. You can easily get to the lock with the wrong ability. You might go to get a barrel and find you can't get back to unlock it without some extra efforts. Like you're like supposing what if the game was constructed that way? That's a reason to like hypothetically design it that way. Basically, the idea of having Kong switch barrels isn't like rotten to the core by itself. It's an issue with the specific layout of Donkey Kong 64 that each character key opens exactly one character lock, and there's no way to like half open the lock or have it be twice as hard to open the lock. It's usually just busy work, yeah. It's so strange, because, like, the feeling of seeing doors that you want to be able to go into, not having the key for it, coming back to the lock once you get the key is, like, a big part of what makes Metroidvanias fun, but it feels really tiring in, like, Banjo-Kazooie. Bananas in an easily accessible part of the level that only one Kong can pick up. Yeah. Makes sense. Nice. I really like stuff like this, that they like come up with like a grammar for some of the synergy abilities. Yeah. You just swap to a color, and the color doesn't do anything else mechanically. Just, can you pick up the note, yes or no? Yeah. I'm gonna keep brain farting sometimes when I go to cast a void. It's weird. Push that later. Can I get back up here if I drop down from somewhere? Maybe not so easily. Seems bad. Cause this whole thing to fall? I guess not. Makes me think I'm gonna get another block to put on there at some point. These pillars stick around and interesting. I think I might actually have to drop down here. Let's see. Goes here. This one goes here, I think. And this one. Just to get to that chest, right? I think so. Is this a key? Meditation rod. Unleashes Nirvana. There's a key. Is there a thing I can do with these arrow pillars from earlier that I'm forgetting? Like another synergy I can use on them? It's not making them hover. New to this dungeon, okay. Feels like I have to, like, turn on the hover platforms throughout the dungeon somehow. Oh, well, this... If that is in fact a mechanic, this feels like the room where I would be doing it. Oh yeah, I really like it in Astalon. Astalon kind of has that, like, Castlevania 3 feel, except they actually matter for progression in some respects. It doesn't feel like busy work when you have to swap them. Looks kind of important. Looks like the way we're gonna light the lighthouse, but... Astalon doesn't have 5,000 locks. Okay. Holder of the Star. Show the power of Anemos. is Animos. Sorry. Like a super boss or something? Maybe not. Should be the power of wind, right? Temple in Contigo. Hey Evo, it's rendering as we speak. Sorry, 1 second. Wow. Okay. We'll just accept it. Yay. I assume that was going to turn on all of the hover locations, but I'm surprised I had to use hover there. But whatever, it's fine. I see. Yeah. I guess it's technically a wind synergy. Interesting. Lift the angels up, basically. Fun. Psi crystal. Assuming there's no rendering areas of a cardio, it should be up tomorrow. It's been quite a bit more work than earlier VODs because I had to edit some live commentary for the Ulm fight. So I need to book some time to be able to do that without interruption. Hopefully it will be very soon. I think this is the door that I just unlocked access to. It's a cool dungeon though. Red key. Okay. Got it. Well, shit. I really like the look and feel of the lighthouses. They have this like really like borderline alien feel to them compared to the feel of the rest of the game. It's basically an ice block puzzle. Can't use a move on this, can I? No. Makes me wonder if this is like a drop down from above. Yes, it is. Okay. Ah, I see. Like multiple opportunities to drop from above. Perhaps. I was meant to use move on. Okay, I made a mistake earlier. The first way I went, I didn't realize that I had to move it from there. It's this way first. Oops. Now I can get the chest, okay. Does not remember the position of that block. Interesting. So maybe I can... Oh, I bet it's that I drop from the floor above this one, and then I'm able to only cross this tile one time. Okay. That's cute. Just in case. You never know. Wyvern and Ghost Army. Of Ghost Army and not Ghost Soldier, right? Oh, 2003. See, this makes me suspect that there's like a hidden drop here somewhere. Ghost Army. Oh, this is a room. How far can I move with that? Not very. Should give me the blue key, right? Okay, I still have stuff to do up there, so I'm gonna go back. So I pushed the pillar the first time in error, but I know what to do now, I think. Now hold on a minute. Also push that from there. I still can't get back, right? Really expected that I was gonna have to like drop down from the upper floor to land by where the pillar is. Oh, you know, I bet it's just backtracking because I think the state of the floor resets when you come back. So that's kind of cool. Unusual puzzle for Golden Sun. Very minor complexity spike for that one. Mist potion, which I think we've definitely had several Golden Sun puzzles that involve doing something in one room affecting another room, and I don't know that which entrance you come in from to reset the status of the objects in the room. That might be unique so far to that puzzle. Unless, if this drops me down there, and I just found an alternate way to solve it. This is kind of cool. Neat. Ah, it's a shortcut. I can't get back from there. Okay. So now, presumably, we have to do the same thing on the other side. Like drop down on purpose, right? I guess since you're forced to backtrack there, then maybe that's your opportunity to do that the first time. Just making sure I got everything on the left side up here. I think I did. I did not. There was a chest that I just didn't see. And it's a mimic, of course. Gem has no effect on Gem. I should put these psi crystals on somebody else. Look at Mashiva, since she doesn't really have any source of healing by herself. So she can help somebody else heal. I bet she does get healing if I give her the right combination of Jin, but... Don't you dare. Hold on, just make sure I didn't miss something up here before I progress there. Makes sense. Lightning's not great. Ice is okay. Haven't done the other side of that yet still. Basically just to get to that chest, right? Nothing else of interest in here. Things may have changed as a result of my activation of the lift thing, so... or hover thing, I should say. Like right here, I'm glad I checked. Looks productive. I still have move on. Okay, my bad. But ultimately, just a way to get back up there. Oh, is this just a shortcut to the center? No, it's not. Okay. Huh. Takes longer than all of Golden Sun 1 to get to a lighthouse in Golden Sun 2. It's pretty wild shit. Okay. That's fine and makes sense. Hey, shortcut. Door opening sound and the stab something real good sounds. Right. Thank you. Statue lady. Oh, it would have been perfect if there was one there. Okay. So there's a Jin in this room. With the poundable thing here, I wonder. I don't think I can unpound it. Imagine it was an Earth Gen. Wrong, isn't it? Slamming that down, get me another one. Reset the room or something. Cute. Very cute. Okay. So when two of these are plugged, it makes that thing go back up so you can reset them again. It's quite smart, actually. I think the reason I get a brain fart every time I go to cast a specific synergy is that I tend to associate menuing with this is an opportunity for me to glance at chat temporarily. But then whatever I need to menu for is slightly different each time. Healing duty just in case. Game is fairly active in terms of like button presses. Like, if I want to type to look something up, I pretty much have spell animations to do it. Appreciate that it doesn't waste your time though. Sorcerer, still just a huge stat boost. Okay. So if I'm gonna mix and match, I should do it now that I have so many of them. I guess I should look up a class guide. Golden Sun 2 class guide. Class guide. Classes index. This is the worst possible way to lay out this information, isn't it? Can I get a better one that I can just quickly review? Here we go. Tri-elemental, Dragoon, Medium, Ninja, Ranger, Samurai, White Mage. It's the tri-elemental ones that are the most likely to be interesting, right? In terms of having unique synergies not available otherwise. I think these are the ones that I used previously. All of their own elements, all of a different element, and tri-elements, and the item classes. Okay. I could try all of a different element just to see. Both become barbarians in that case. Planet Diver. Blast, Nova, Condemn, Wild Growth. Jupiter Adepts, Mercury Adepts. Mars Adepts are 4 Earth, 3 Lightning. It's a Samurai. Which I think I had in the previous game. It means she no longer has access to healing. So, who is healing? Medium, maybe? I really like her having healing aura and like this base region. So can I navigate this while she stays Mars and everybody else tries to mix and match, maybe? Illusionist. Diviner. It's her cure. All water on Shiva is pretty good. Savant. Gets me party heal. She keeps impact. She gets access to 2 kinds of spells, okay. Keeping 1 wind on her. Oh yeah, that significantly increases her stats. Interesting. Is there a comparable one where Felix wants to have 1 earth or Piers wants to have 1 water? Back to Slayer. He basically is the same thing, right? 7+, you want 1 of their own still. Okay. This basically turns them both into healers with decent damage and with the same kinds of spells. It means Piers loses out on just to see what they're like, I'm gonna try to trade all of these out. Piers loses out on the Diamondberg attack, the one that does a ton of damage and scales with attack stat. Loom Edge. It's Wish and Wish Well. This Plume Edge, is that actually similar to the Diamondberg one? Druid. Bolt. Wild Growth. 5. Fire on Piers might be interesting. See what it looks like. So I basically never experiment. Do some mild experimentation here. Water Monk, Lumineer. Wish Well, Guard, Protect. Still gets a Void. Okay. So, I think I know what I want then. I think I want Healing Aura on Jenna. I like having Wish Well on Shiba since she goes first. That way I can always get a heal at the start of the turn and a heal at the end of the turn, in case it mattered, the timing on that. I think I want Helix to still have Odyssey or whatever. Unfortunately, this means that both Piers and Shiba are basically the same class, and Piers gets quite a bit weaker as a result. I want to do that, that's bad. Still could play around with some of the tri-elemental options here. Them both into Sages. It's lame, but I think I'm going to go back to having them all be single element, and once I get some more elements, or maybe once I've mentioned the one major spoiler I know about Golden Sun 2 that I guess is implied by carrying over your save file is that you get the old party back at some point and can like remix some of their Jin, so like which of the Jin you carry over matters. So I might just hold out for that and then experiment some more. I feel like you'd be missing out on a ton of content if you didn't get 100% of the Jin in Golden Sun 1. Carrying over all the Jin from 1 and 2 into 3 also significant. What is the hover, like, icon? It's like a person T-posing above the ground. Okay. I see. Just like drop them down. Marty, do your teefies hurt? Poor baby. Checking he's got a vet appointment in January to maybe get some teeth pulled. He's currently rubbing his gums on my desk over here. Become a toothless kitty. Oh god. Okay. So we already know that they'll only float if they're specifically on these tiles, right? Okay. So I think it makes sense as here, 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 here. I think that connects to there. That gets me to a chest. Only one area I get to start from, so... Ah, but that's not going to lift up, so that's not going to work. Hope there's like a weapon or something in that chest. If it's like an herb or an elixir or something, I'm gonna be sad. This game chests generally don't make me feel sad like they do in Final Fantasy XII. I can feel Final Fantasy XII's chest like sucking the joy from my body every time. Should be able to get to the chest now. Come on, something good. It's an emergency res, but I don't know if it was worth all of that. It's like the best possible consumable that's not like a stat increase item. But it's still a consumable, which means it's inherently trash. Wish we could get statistics on things like number of oil drops ever used by players in Golden Sun 2, right? I think we want to keep one on that. So we can put it here. Watch shit like oil drops and bramble seeds be like super critical to the speedrun. Just a straight up shortcut? I'm not sure. Might be. Cool. Also rad. Due to oil slick Jacob, who used 10,000 over the course of a large number of playthroughs and should not have been counted. I would be so interested in that information if I were a game developer. Rate of usage of every like ability and consumable item in the game. This is a room. I didn't even see those. Oops. This game puts me right back down there. That's nice of them. Yeah. So I always say yes to. Oh, I'm just permanently floating. Okay. Interesting. It's because I get like a second to not be over a float. Right. Okay. It's moving up and around that causes that to blow its wind. Oops. Now that I'm only ever going to need it one more time, now I'll put it on a quick cast. Ah man, that's hard. I don't know how many seconds I have to dodge it. This one's also closer to me than the earlier one, right? That's part of the problem. So I should hold to the right wall for slightly longer. That worked. I thought it was going to just naturally drop me much sooner. One of these days, I'm going to get rewarded for this. Okay. To your theory about there potentially being cut content from this game, I gotta go back and look at Golden Sun 1. It feels like there's just a lot of gameplay in this, right? And like lots of big sections where you just do a whole dungeon and there's no like dialogue or direct instruction, which is cool, I don't mind that. But I feel like that might back up your theory. Especially since we know that the way they do dialogue in this game is quite a bit longer form. Phaeton's Blade. Oops. Alicia's Light Surge. Makes the most sense to just leave now. This game doesn't feel quite as empty story-wise as like Final Fantasy XII, but it is a little shortcut. How nice. Probably missed some secrets here, but Presumably none of them are Jin. Well, definitely none of them are Jin, because there aren't any Jin in the Shin Guide that are here. Okay, so I've been up to where the angel's holding the thing where... I don't remember how to get back up there. There's a thing to adjust up here. Just a key item that we're required for a Jin. Yeah, exactly. No problem. Does this game also do a password for Golden Sun 3? Is that like gonna be my... thing that I save in case we ever do Golden Sun 3? Was it cart to DS only? Or is there just no save file transfer at all? Years later. I feel like Synergy Stone should probably top you off, since you could trivially top off before picking them up, but... it's a really cool attack animation, jeez. Blows my mind how much effort they put into the, like, weapon procs that you might only see, like, a dozen times. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they cut the corner there and made it so that they only activated, or they reuse spell animations, but they all seem to be unique to those weapons. This might be completely the wrong way, I'm not sure. No, I got up through the center fairly early. So I'm trying to retrace my steps from the beginning. Oh, okay. There's this room. Let's go. I think I might be going in a circle. Let me see. Yeah, okay. I think if I go down, that just takes me out to the entrance, which is nothing new. Yeah, okay. So I think we gotta go straight. Forgot that I had access to this room so early. So it makes sense. Start by trying to ignore stuff that requires core mechanic. Tales of Symphonia. I really need to play that game again. It was on the voting system briefly. I guess I probably wouldn't get the same experience I had playing it on GameCube forever ago, because I played it on a really hard difficulty. stagnation. I know where that goes. This is the wrong way. That goes to the western tower, which we don't need, because this was the red door, right? I like a lot of its ideas, like the title system is kind of cool, despite the missables that creates. Mia! Oh, hey, shit! Oh, damn! Oh, my goodness gracious. Hot diggity. It's weird seeing Isaac talking. I like that, though, that, like, when he's not the protagonist, he's allowed to talk. I love their commenting on the animation of Emily using the one arm. Nani? This is very exciting. Fire Clan. Frozen Land of Prox. They all dress similarly. We don't know what Felix's objectives are. We're here to stop Felix. What a pleasant surprise. Fair fights. Where's Alex at? Nani? I was half expecting it to start a combat with me controlling them. It's dishonorable. With all the combat sound effects, that's cool. Yeah, this is a pretty exciting story event. Can I even use those to get across, or do I have to come through the other way? Hang on, and he'll be fine. It's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. think that I've been on the other side of this, but I thought... Excuse me. This might be wrong, but... Yeah, that just goes to the chest. I thought the little blocks I could push just got me to a chest in that next room. Wait. Oh no, I can just go up the ladder. Okay, never mind. Hey, it's Alex. Sure that's all you're gonna do? Leave Isaac behind, you'll regret it. Oh. Thanks, Alex. Blocking me from just lighting the lighthouse and abandoning my friends. Keep it together, Ivan. Whoa! That's pretty cool. Cool animation, too. His concern for his friend gave us the opportunity to strike. Way to go, Kraden. Very helpful. Look out! Not leaving Isaac behind. You betray us now? I mean, yes. Fight Felix now will be destroyed. Oh, sorry about that, Dragon Protector. Sure. How are you gonna do that? You got like a rope ability, Kraden? Thanks, Isaac. Puts it in his mithril bag, because this game could be extra mean and cause every one of the stars to take up an inventory slot. Great. And the Kraden's just like, we gotta help. He's coming over there to like project manage, putting his Hands on his hips. Lift with your backs. Right. Light the beacon. Cast the Jupiter star in, yes. Whoa! What crazy shit's gonna happen this time? It's Ozma! One more lighthouse. Rude. Mars lighthouse is in Prox. They stole the Mars star. Yeah, we had that flickering problem for something in the previous game. It actually looks okay on my monitor, but in OBS it looks like the frame rate is screwy. So anytime we have a frame effect that's like every other frame, even though I'm streaming at 60 frames per second, for some reason the capture card or OBS doesn't like it. I say pick the two characters that can do a shitload of damage, but also don't have party heals. Because they can both heal themselves, so... Foe's defense. No effects. Whoa. Hey, friendship is magic. Strength turns to normal. How dare you? So that just removes my stat buff from using the Venus. Death Scythe. Ouch. Don't hit Pierce, please. Shiva's here. I would have expected the game to end here after what happened in the first game. I wonder if it's actually remembering their health every time a new character shows up. Ouch. I always repair these if they break, right? Ooh. Now we're caught up. Yeah, alright. I don't know if the computer tries to use break, even if I don't have any stat buffs. Oh, I think I skipped an animation there by accident. Ouch. Try not to do that next time. Ginfest? Okay, that sucks. Just puts them on standby, basically. Oh, no, okay. Treats them as if they had just been summoned. Animation and sound for that is very funny to me. I'm gonna start running low on PP here. Oh, shit. What happened? Okay, whew. Well, the game crashed. How many times did I get away with that? 3 at least. Hey, only I may do that. I do 4 times? Probably not, right? It's gonna give me an arrow this time. No, shit. Glad I just killed Agatio immediately so that the healing aura sucks. 342. Okay. It's 4 times. It's the maximum number of times. It's like 360 damage. Nice. Wrecked. Cool aura. You got some dark matter. Yeah, I wish I could show the difference between the flickering, because it's flickering on my main screen, but it's like... It looks almost solid on stream. Probably should. Be honest. Perfect. You make us fight them again? Sorry, the game looks washed out again, and I'm worried that when it looked like it froze, that it turned on HDR again. I'm gonna try to get to a save point, and then I'll see if I can fix that. I have a little color correction thing I can set to adjust the contrast and saturation, which looks better to me, but I don't know if it's gonna apply every time or not. Okay. Elevator should be operational again. It's everybody! Get hype. What a bunch of jerks. So even though there's no password to take into Golden Sun 3, did they have a password in this game just in case? For a clear file or whatever? I don't think you could sneak off again. It's convenient there are two elevators like that. Back to Contigo we go. Not enough PP, oh geez. Unlocks a hard mode. Interesting. One sec, Andrea's pinging me. Sorry about that. Real quick, let me see if my HDR thing just got turned on. I'm just gonna pause the clock and recording for a second. Never mind, there appears to have been no issue. This place is just extremely yellow. Meeting at the inn here? Just stay at the end regardless. Can't get another corn. There's only one corn in the game. They said that I could just find them here in Contigo, but... maybe not. By the boat, maybe? I don't know. Its own wiki article saying there are 2 ears of corn in the series. Oh no, and I didn't carry it over to this game. I failed to collect all the important items. There they are. Glad you kept your promise. Why aren't you doing this? What are you talking about? He conspired to steal the elemental stars and fire the beacons of the 4 lighthouses. Failed to solve the mystery of Sol Sanctum. Nobody was killed by the boulder that day. Couldn't have worked together. They were too powerful then. It would have been impossible. King Hydra says our world is shrinking. Climate change. We do nothing, the world will definitely end. Okay, that seems like a good argument for lighting the lighthouses. It's so weird seeing Isaac talk. His, like, character model in-game looks like 10 years younger than his portrait. You're a lot smarter than I remember you being. Come on. Descendant of the Animos. Born in Contigo. We found out this is where Ivan was born. We also learned he's got a sister. That's convenient. Now isn't the time. I think this would have been a cool point to, like, change perspectives, like right when you bump into Isaac at all on the lighthouse, to, like, cut to them and see what they were doing on their way here. That probably would have ballooned the scope of this game. Probably get the... they were adventuring, it's fine. You're not missing anything. To go now... So it seems like we have the same objective as the bad guys, so what are the stakes right now? Part 2 ends with leaving Lemuria. People just walked into my body there. Whoa! That's pretty cool. So, like, in combat I can have a maximum of 4 people and I can pick who to bring, I guess? That's pretty rad. And it just assigned them arbitrarily and gave them shitty classes as a result, huh? Right. Oh, that's cool. Try that in a second. So this is where... So, okay. I can only use 4 characters at a time. And... now... if I want characters to have... additional Jin, I have to collect enough Jin to fill up everybody's slots, right? But I can also look at what each of the Earth Jin do and try to make the optimal setup of Earth Jin for a specific character. To make a party with neither of them, you get the battle theme from the first 10 minutes of the game, which was really rad. I might do that just because I like that battle theme, because we won't have an Earth adept. It's a surprising amount of effort. It's kind of cool. This is a really cool moment to happen, and this is like, you know, top-tier JRPG things to happen. Look at all these game tickets. Look at all this inventory space. Force, catch. Oh god, I don't think I realized that there's a limit of 30, I guess that makes sense. Demon Axe. I needed to have the Cleric's Ring and not get cursed. It's that you're cursed, but the Cleric's Ring allows you to ignore the effect of the curse, right? Pretty cool shit. Now, is the Miramasa also cursed? We need to have another Cleric's Ring to be able to wield it safely. Boost PP. Quick boots. Cloak. Douse. Pulls the ancient ship. Looks like an elixir. Leashes drown. Okay. Green yeast. Let me try to decide what party I want. I don't want to get the new sound. All their abilities by default here. Catch, grab light objects from afar, force, strike a distant object, lift an object vertically, stop a moving object, cloak. So I guess part of the idea here is that we have a warrior-oriented and mage-oriented version of each kind of class, right? So, well, no, we don't, because both Isaac and Felix are earth warriors, so we don't have a mage, earth mage. I'll decide how I want to do this here. Oh, and both wind adepts are mages. I see. Okay. Boost attack, boost defense, restore party PP. You probably definitely want to have that. Run this for a bit as I'm curious with the battle music, because I haven't heard it in a while. So Felix tries to take over the battle theme. If he's in the party, it'll definitely be his no matter what. If he's not in the party but Isaac is, it'll be Isaac's no matter what, and you only get the third one if neither of them are in the party. Let me look at the guide here for the next Jin. Oh, it's in Contigo. Find the stumps behind the inn. Jeez. Because if you remembered that you could force those stumps. Shine. Goes into a hero. Liquefier. Oh, wow. So if you didn't carry over the save, you just miss out on some Jin in this game? Mean. New map music too, that's cool. Does it work out that with the avoid mechanics that both parties are at about the same level at the time you get here? Or did they do any adjusting to Isaac's party? 29. Actually, they're a little underleveled. Interesting. It's technically skippable. Oh my god. I like this battle theme the best, I think. Usually you only hear the opening notes anyway. I wanted the change to have two characters from both games. I'll stick with what I got for now. Yeah, I'll change it up later. Time to watch a legend become reality. Okay, It says there's another Jin here somewhere. Supposedly there's a suspicious looking rock here somewhere. Hold on. It says, where people are messing with your ship, find a suspicious looking rock at the left side. This one. Haven't done that in a minute, dang. So I could have revealed that, but not gotten to it without lifts. That's crazy. Geode. He's also a Slayer, okay. Revive, heal ailments. Oh wow, I don't know if I appreciated this before. So the individual Jin have different stat boosts. I thought it was just stat boosts from equipping certain colors. So I could try to maximize attack, I guess, right? Not Fizz. Just traded Mist, right? Those mitts or spritz. I'll see if I'm missing any like abilities that I really want. I think if I see neutral attack, that means that the one I'm trying to equip doesn't have any attack bonus in the first place, right? Yeah. Spring, maybe? Okay, so I have the most attack I could possibly get. Revive, recover all ailments, and spritz are maybe good. The ones that don't affect my attack here. Roll with that for now, that should be fine. I guess I could do the same thing with the other, with the wind ones, but I won't worry about it too much at the moment. This is a big, like, break point for the game in terms of, like, progression, huh? Got wings now. Roll credits. Need to focus the power of your minds. Confident and set sail. Deliver this to Isaac. Or a Halcon. Is that also a save file transfer thing? Really felt like this would be... Oh, okay. Let's see how far we can take this thing. The reason I took the quest is I always wanted to make a ship fly. Shiva fell from the sky. Why is everyone so down all of a sudden? I was born in a poor village. It's not like you're humble bragging there, Creighton. This could feel like a dump of cut content, yeah, makes sense. We wanted to do this thing, but we couldn't, so here you go. Alright, bye. Okay, bye. Seems like it's a little bit faster. I can just press the sprint button to do it. Okay, that's kind of cool. Alright, something in Shaman Village, it sounds like. Can I use my ability to fly to go over rivers? I can. Okay, that's helpful. Like, this doesn't seem as helpful as I would like. Shaman Village. Still have to go through the cave? Probably. So I can land on the ground and disembark, I assume. This is a very different way of doing an airship than what I'm accustomed to. We've been looking for you, Isaac. These guys. Really expensive avoid spell. You can avoid some very specific, like, shallow rocks. Shouldn't have won. You didn't fight fair. Oh, that's cool. Dang. So again, this is only if you transfer a save, I assume. Ooh, aura. Oh, that's pretty nice. Only have you one Colosso. I think I did everything in the first game that resulted in additional content in this one then, right? Should focus Azar instead. Oh, that was not that hard. Thought we didn't win on fair square, and he goes up against 8 of us effectively. Still using synergy all the while. It's max attack. 400 damage, very nice. Probably do something similar with getting all of the attack Mars Jin on Garrett. Seen the error of our ways. After you cast all of those magical spells on us, will you forgive us? Yes. Thanks, guys. Golden shirt. It is HP and defense. It's not particularly exciting. Now, if I wanted to give a cursed weapon over to Garrett, since I'm not using Isaac at the moment, would I have to go to a church to remove the curse first? Attack up. Shows neutral, it's probably not bonus in any way. Gives me another attack bonus. 393. 397. I think that's as high as I'm gonna get it. Okay. That's pretty neat. Tinter and Corona, both with connotations that did not have in 2003. Oh, does the lifted rock specifically block me from jumping there? Interesting. We can't have that one active, I don't think. Oops. Oh, interesting. So I think I can trap that guy now. If there ends up being a use for a synergy from Golden Sun 1 that I've clearly forgotten, feel free to just tell me later. I imagine most of them are obvious, but specifically if it involves getting summons, I do want to try to get all those summons if possible. Force was optional, but lift was not, right? Hold might work. Holy shit, ow. Okay. Not the best party layout for dealing with this guy. Oh, the fire does more than I expected it to. Oh, it said Mia recovered PP, so can I can change party members mid-combat? Does that use a turn? That's really crazy and very cool. I didn't even see that new menu option. It'd be cool if there's any content where like switching between them like that matters. I guess maybe if you run out of PP. Does the music change when you do that? Eddie. Not that kind of Eddie. Turn to an angel from Paragon. This one does not affect... Oh, speed up Jin recovery time. Does that just like make it so that any Jin that are currently in recovery advance one stage when you activate it or something? Yeah, I'll try to wait to do it until there's a random battle. I think we still want to go to Shaman Village. Do all these puzzles again, unfortunately. At least I can try to do the faster one this time. That wall of grass is impossible to reach, right? Or am I crazy? Can't do it from here, I don't think. Oh, that makes sense. Wonder, it probably is just a vine ladder. I don't know if blowing the grass off these actually does anything. Maybe I can't push them until I do that. I like the chests on the left side are also way less out of the way than they are on the right side. Okay, made it. That's technically kind of sort of a shortcut. Oh no, it's just a way to lock you in there. Never mind. Hooray! Thanks, Isaac. Do you need to have mages to get access to party heals, or I'm wondering if I want to do a party of all warriors, which unfortunately would be all dudes. Maybe I don't want to do that then. Is that from one of the cross-class things for peers? That is a truly comical animation. Is there any practical difference between the different heal spells? Or are they just differently flavored for the different elements? There's no wind healing spell, right? base numbers might be slightly different. Okay. The fuck? Seeing like mirrors my movements. Oh, the void's not working. Cool. Double step. No. Guess these look like reveal rocks. They are reveal rocks. That's cool. Seems to have worked. But there's no escape. They just have a chance to fail their attempt to escape. Which just has never happened before, I guess. Ow. Cool. The next one looks like is in Magma Rock, so I'm gonna head over in that direction. I don't think I'm allowed to retreat from here, am I? Wait, really? Where's that gonna put me, though? That's what I thought. Okay. It's fine. Retreat does not work here, nor do the give up tiles. I guess if you use sand, you don't have to walk across the slow rope. Let's try to rest here, because I'm pretty down on PP. I might just try to enjoy this party for the battle music for a little while, but I'll probably end up bringing in either Isaac or Felix. I don't know which yet. Should probably go forge the Orichalcon. Inventory space feels less restricted now that I have 8 characters. See how long that lasts. Guess it doesn't do anything. Alright, Magma Rock was on... I think I might have a map marker for it because I visited it before. I'll check once we get outside, I guess. Wish I could check the map while flying. Take an Inlet, Contigo, Gondwan Settlement, Magma Rock. I wonder why they even have the meter in the first place, because, like, it almost doesn't matter. Almost be completely ignored. Oh, really? Is it just the PP of the person that's casting hover? Everyone's PP? Holy shit. Seems surprisingly punishing. Alright, you get 4 party members back, and it seems like the main impact on your ability to progress is the addition of the lift ability. Music here is pretty sweet. Why I want to blow these up, or if I want to blow them up. Just in case, I'll blow them up. Gotta find out if those actually stay broken or not. You do have Ember, right? Try to just use that top back off. Then the next battle. Does it reset the things I just bombed? It did! That was a waste. Okay. Mimic. No effect on Gears. Apple? Oh, right, because it's a scripted drop. So that's pretty exciting, but... I've put so much into Felix. Probably going to end up bringing Felix back, so... Got one of those Lucky Pepper, too. Oh, which is really strong. Phaeton's Blade. Yeah, it looks like that's a bit better than his current thing. Isaac and Felix both have protagonist stats. I guess if I'm gonna double up on anybody, it should be those two. Cannot pull those up from here. So hold on. Doesn't seem right. Can't like move this down, right? Assume I'm going to come down that staircase and then push it off the left side here to have a platform to jump to the left door, but it doesn't seem possible. Rain on the magma, does that do anything? Ooh. Oh, I didn't realize I could climb up here. Cute. This song goes pretty hard compared to the other dungeon themes. What? Interesting. Fast bass drum hits in this song. Oh, sure. Remember to manually reactivate that. So the best way to do this is this, right? All the Grim Reaper on your foes. Is that like a, instant death for regular enemies type thing. Oh, an oil drop. Cool. I'm excited about getting oil drops. Those fill me with joy and not sadness. Alright, game, the burst animation is a little long. Calm down a hair. I guess I could set it up so that Mia just always has access to this, so I don't have to keep swapping Jin. Twin beaks. Ah. Has a chance to apply a debuff to each enemy that causes them to die in 7 turns. Oh my god. Is that the worst ability in JRPG? Probably not the worst, but it's pretty bad. Let's give her growth. Burst is worse because it's single target. I feel like if it has a chance to kill them instantly, that's already bad enough to not warrant use in many use cases, right? Well, the purpose of Splash is to not do anything. Like, I think that this ability is intended to be used. I think it's a joke on purpose. Nice Griffin. Like you can see the little burst statues in the background. It's cute. Right, that's good. That makes sense. Love that GBA choir. What's up here? So I can switch them, but I only get 1 switch per round, and the switch is free. Flare Storm and Fireball cost the same, but Fireball hits more targets. Yotoko mask. What the fuck? I almost never get equipment drops. Is that like super rare? Used to release fire breath. I have to go left anyway. Oh. Yikes. I wasn't really appreciating how much. Which one do we pick? Maybe they exist to catch up Isaac at all. The ones they summon more of also give you XP. Did the furthest left one. Second from the left. Third from the left is a chest, so I may as well do that. The XP farm strat is the birds in a later dungeon. You just let them summon an unlimited number of each other. Okay, I have to get down really fast. Does this justify why it takes so long for those things to trigger? That motif, the doot 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 doot, is like the James Bond motif. Like, they're not similar at all, but they show up a lot in all kinds of different music. It's kind of iconic. I love when that happens, 'cause there's a finite number of melodies that sound good, so. Jaden's like main character theme that he wrote for Let Us Quest is accidentally the same motif from Final Fantasy X-2's battle theme. She's never played or heard before. It's very easy if you're just like fucking around on a keyboard or something to accidentally play the James Bond theme. Wow, you're not kidding about it. They give like a factor of 10 more XP. What the hell? Holy hell. Alright, this is a room. What do you want from me, game? They revive dead enemies, I see. What's the use case for carry? What did that do exactly? Like jump over those on the tops of them later? How is it different from lifts? Lift plus move, okay. Let's go right on. I like having out-of-party healers now. Over there in the first place. This is basically useless, right? Oops, too many on the glitch. It's one of the most impressive looking proc animations. Can't hit it from here, right? I think I'm missing something in this area. I might need some help here in a second. I think my only way up here is via this set of handholds. And I assume being able to light this guy lets me climb up there. Maybe I need to use a reveal. I'll try that in a second. Yay, super cool. Not as yay. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing something in this area. I can push this pillar, but I don't know why. I feel like I'm missing an interactable here somewhere. I don't see how to get up there. This thing is like a borderline like metal slime in terms of the difference in XP it gives. Oh, maybe this is what it is. Okay, I didn't realize I could jump on those. Makes sense now. even any reason to do that. I don't think so. Oh, it's my only way to get back down. Okay. Okay. I see. Not a sound. Doot 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 doot. I love that shit. It's great. I think I've mentioned before that I had a Casio keyboard that had drum sounds that sounded exactly like the bongos from Secret of Evermore. So I have to wonder if Jeremy Soule intentionally picked bongo sounds based on whatever keyboard he was accustomed to at the time, or tried to craft the Super Nintendo sound font to sound like them. Shortcuts, very nice. It's tough to force the Phoenix combat. Salamander tail. Forgeable, okay. Gotta try to remember. I'll leave a note to myself to do some forging. I might have to wrap a couple minutes early today. We got about 10 minutes left, but we'll see shortly here. Fortunately, I can save on a dime in this game, and I've been better about doing it regularly. Add an elegant synth, just a bunch of SNES RPG instruments. Do they already have a problem where, oh god, I wince sometimes when I'll read about how they'll like specifically get permission for people to perform specific songs from earlier Square games. Like, guys, just don't acknowledge it. All you have to do is do the City of Heroes thing, like, add the tools in your game to exactly recreate the Incredible Hulk or Wolverine or whatever, and then just say, hey guys, don't do that. You don't have our permission to do that, and then no one's ever gonna care. You know, no one's ever gonna be standing around in Gridania playing Rise of the Sinistrals or whatever, and the person who composed it is gonna sue Squares. So I definitely wince when they're like, we're specifically allowing these songs. That makes me think that they wouldn't do something like SNES sound fonts because they wouldn't want to anger LJN's composers or something. Could use a third-party app to macro bard songs. I've never heard of anyone being banned for it. It's fun. I imagine they sound really good on a macro. So did each of the knight classes in this game get a strong single target spell that scales with their attack? I noticed Garrett has one too. I guess I should assume that Isaac gets the same one as Felix. I just don't remember having it in the first game. They'll just play MIDI files directly. That's cool. J to export his MIDI tracks. Player shouldn't bump as a 14, that'd be fun. It'll do an arpeggio out all. Oh, okay, that's cool. I think Odyssey is better than Ragnarok, isn't it? Yeah, he gets Odyssey and replacement for it. Sure. We're in the dungeon part. The look on that, like, totem thing's face in the background. Looks like he's laugh puking. Dear. Okay. Not so okay. How in the hell do we get down there? I haven't messed around with Bard instruments terribly much in 14. Is there like a GCD on the maximum number of notes you can play per, like, second? There's any other way inside the dungeon, right? Are there other entrances? That's cool. Yeah, I just imagine with the way that netcode works on any MMO, that would be hard to get it to sound right for everybody, unless if it's doing some significant buffering where it's trying to emulate what it sounds like on your client to everybody else. Okay, I think I'm probably going to have to wrap here, so let me get back. Future Marstead, you're in Magma Rock Dungeon. You might be stuck. Maybe. Just open the way into the dungeon part of the dungeon, the indoor part. It's this door over here. By the way, these phoenixes give a ton of XP and they resurrect their allies, which serves to give you even more XP, so maybe try to abuse that a little bit. But you probably want to progress from inside of that door. Just look around and see if you can figure it out. Hey Scoot, how you doing? It'll take 7 turns to kill me, too. 4571. Yeah, so I guess try to figure out what you can do from in here. It looks like you're blocked, but maybe there's like a synergy or something that you can use. And don't forget to use your alternate party for healing, because you're kind of low on health right now. Actually, just abundance of caution.